Hi, and welcome to the No War Zone. The casualties of war extend beyond the armed forces fighting it. In Sri Lanka, over hundreds of thousands of people have been internally displaced multiple times over the past 2.5 decades. In the light of these unfavorable circumstances, a national consultation on the status of the IDPs was held in Colombo to address this situation.
Internal displacement has been one of the many adverse effects of conflict to dog Sri Lanka during its 25-year war. Hundreds of thousands of families have lost everything from one day to the next. Communities have been torn apart. Children who have been born displaced have never known what it's like to have a stable home or means of education. In this way, internal displacement jeopardizes peace, perpetuates violence, and destroys the prospects of whole generations. It was to curb this grim trend in Sri Lanka that the National Consultation on the Status of IDPs within the Framework for Durable Solutions had its inaugural ceremony on the 23rd of September 2008 at the Ceylon Continental Hotel in Colombo. Dignitaries from ministries concerning themselves with the welfare of IDPs, along with those from humanitarian agencies such as UNDP and UNHCR, presided at the event. Chaired by Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe, whose ministry facilitated the consultation, the event took on the challenge of finding durable solutions to the prevailing IDP situation in Sri Lanka.
It is important that our discussions and any proposed solutions are based on local realities. We need to look at international standards and best practice, their applicability and adaptability in the Sri Lankan context, and ultimately decide what is of relevance to Sri Lanka. In so doing, we need to be acutely aware of concerns at the local level. I admit this is no easy task. It is precisely for this reason that I have personally committed myself to the success of this initiative.
Sri Lanka has seen widespread displacement during 2 decades of conflict. The tsunami of 2004 significantly increased the country's internally displaced population. While many returned home by the middle of 2005, hundreds of thousands remained displaced, with family or in welfare centers. A return to war in 2006 has added to the numbers of the internally displaced in Sri Lanka today. It was the opinion of Professor Walter Kalin, who gave the keynote address at the inaugural ceremony, that if durable solutions were found to improve the situation of the old IDPs, authorities would be better able to look after and prevent the protraction of those displaced in more recent times.
For all, whether they have been displaced recently or a long time ago, for all the IDPs, durable solutions must be found. A challenge that requires advanced thought and planning, a challenge we should start to address today. What is needed is to do everything possible to avoid that the recently displaced end up in protracted displacement too. And this consultation, beyond addressing the old cases, may also help to avoid renewed protracted displacement.
Each of the speakers had valuable information to impart in regard to the IDP situation in the country, as well as important areas to be discussed during the following days of the consultation. In his speech, Minister Rishad Badiuddin gave an overview of his ministry's work with the IDPs and highlighted the need for further assistance in this regard.
Northern province are relatively, when my ministry was established, the all displaced persons were around 300,000. But a decade ago, this segment of the population was over 800,000. With the resettlement of about 175,000 in the Bettikolo and Trincomalee districts, the number of IDPs got decreased. My ministry is in the process of initiating action to resettle the IDPs and to relocate them in suitable location acceptable to them with their own consent in terms of the norms and policy of the United Nations.
Citing the 1998 Guiding Principles on Internal Displacement, Professor Kalin pointed out 3 possible options for durable solutions for IDPs and stressed the importance of involving those displaced in a dialogue and providing them with accurate information which would enable them to make informed decisions about their own welfare.
First, return to their place of origin, what here in Sri Lanka I understand is commonly referred to as resettlement. And we see in most situations that the majority of IDPs do in fact opt for return. Second solution, integration in the area of displacement, meaning local integration. And third possible solution is the relocation to another part of the country. The decision to return, in particular, has to be voluntary, say the guiding principles, and informed, meaning based on sufficient information on the conditions at the place of return. As a consequence
At the close of his speech, Kalin pointed out that solving the IDP situation in the country could mean massive developments in peace-building initiatives. A durable solution to the protracted displacement could effectively become a durable solution for the conflict itself.
In the old cases, the way in which these issues are resolved will have a major impact on the sustainability of peace in a country. Helping displaced populations to return and reintegrate can simultaneously help to address the root causes of a conflict and help prevent further displacement. The return of displaced populations can be an important signifier of peace and the end of conflict.